Hey guys, Sejo Wachiaba here. You're probably wondering why it's been so long since we had a proper movie review. This pretty much answers your question, alright? I woke up, I was chained to a sink, and I was told that if I did not review Saw X, then I would die. Well, I cut my way out of that, and... well, this is ruined. This video is sponsored by Jigsaw. I totally messed up the intro joke, and I'm leaving it in. Saw X was directed by Kevin Grutter and released in theaters last weekend. I'm a big fan of the Saw franchise, as you can tell, so I was very excited for this. This was one of my most anticipated films of the entire year. Which, honestly, things are getting pretty slim. We lost Dune 2, a few other movies got delayed till next year, but hey, we still had some bangers this year, and Saw X is one that I can't wait to talk about. If you haven't seen Saw X, though, there will be a spoiler section. You can go to that time code there for the spoilers. If you haven't seen the film, I highly recommend, with these Saw movies, you know that they have these big twists in them. You do not want to ruin it for yourself. So go watch the film and check out the spoilery thoughts wherever I just put the time code. Just spit all over the computer. Let's get into the review. So, Tobin Bell is back as John Kramer, Jigsaw, and the story being told here is that John, of course, has cancer, and he is given an opportunity to get some surgery and some medical assistance to hopefully see another day and live a long, prosperous, murder-filled life. Yeah, so, unfortunately, it doesn't go that way, as you see in the trailers. The surgeons, or scam artist surgeons, take advantage of John and get this surgery done, but didn't really do a damn thing. So John takes revenge, and it gets very, very messy. Alright, getting into the actual story, the writing of the film, I think that this is one of the best written Saw films in the franchise. I know that's not saying a ton, because a lot of the other Saw films, you know, there's these constant changing timelines, and, you know, this movie takes place between this one and that one and this one, and, you know, it can be confusing sometimes. And it's Saw, alright? We're not here for a compelling story all of the time. We're here for some bloody, brutal kills and some creative traps. And we get both in that movie. In this Saw X, sorry. You get a compelling story with John Kramer. You actually have some emotion in this movie. I was not expecting that of all movies this year, that Saw X would make me feel some kind of emotion, but it really does. John Kramer is essentially the hero of this film. These surgeons, they scammed him, and they are really bad people. You want them dead. You have Amanda there assisting him. Amanda comes back from, of course, the Saw and Saw 2 and 3. I forget which one she dies, and I apologize. It's been a minute since I've watched all of them. I did watch the original before I watched this one. This film takes place between Saw and Saw 2. And yeah, Saw X really does dive into that emotion that comes with John basically losing that hope that he is going to make it. He has a lot of optimism towards this surgery. When he hears about all the good things, his friend recommends it to him. You know, there's a boy that he befriends on the land there, and they become friends. He fixes his bike, and that was a nice moment. He actually seems like he... Of course, I mean, I don't think we're going to lose Jigsaw killing people and everything. He's always going to enjoy teaching people a lesson. But you start to see a side of him that you've never seen before, and that's just something really compelling. And they handle that arc really well when it takes the turn that it does. So John gets his revenge, traps all of these surgeons, and you can probably guess what happens to most of them. And it is a bloody, brutal time. I would say the traps here are super cool. They all have their own little uniqueness to them, and they all have to kind of deal with elements of surgery or cancer or medical type things. So, it corresponds to the people that he's doing these things to. That was a really cool element. Like I said, Amanda is back in this film, and her performance is great. Tobin Bell is just fantastic as Jigsaw. John Kramer. This might be actually my favorite performance from him. He is just so in his element here. He is broken. He is humiliated. He feels taken advantage of by these people, and he wants them to suffer. And he tests them. Will some of them pass? Some of them won't. You know, it gets crazy. That's all I can really say with these Saw films, without going heavily into spoilers. The twist is something I really love. Can't wait to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I'm giving Saw 10, a 10 out of 10. Man, Saw is just something that you don't get that compelling story arc with very often, okay? You have those emotional moments, sure, possibly, here and there. The first film is something special, but this movie is right up there with it. I would even say that if I kept watching Saw X and I kept seeing more positive things out of it, which I think I might, it very well could pass Saw as the best film in this franchise. It's definitely the best sequel, I will say that. So that's great. That's all I gotta say for Saw X right now for the non-spoilers. Join me in spoilers where we will talk about the brutal things that happen. So entering the spoiler section, John does get his revenge. He puts all of these surgeons in a room and picks them off one by one. There's some surprises in there. One of the victims actually passes her test but gets killed off later. There's a big twist involving this guy that comes there who was also scammed, and the main doctor. See, the backstory for this is the main doctor lady. She takes what her father was doing with his cancer research and turns it into something that she can profit off of with a few of her other, not friends basically, but just people that wanted to get a piece of the action. You have Gabriella. You have, oh my gosh, Gabriella was one of the most memorable ones to me. Cecilia is the main doctor. That's her. You have two others. I'm sorry, I can't remember their names right now. But they get really messed up. So the first trap, this lady, she has to saw her leg off and get enough bone marrow to get the key to unlock her, her restraints. She fails. She cuts her leg off all the way. Really brutal stuff, by the way. I love that. But, unfortunately for her, she just doesn't get enough bone marrow out, so she gets decapitated. Great way to start. I mean, we really do take our time with this movie. It's an hour and 50-ish minutes, 53, I want to say. And it really does take that time to set up the payoff by the end. You have the first, 50 or so minutes is, John is hopeless. He is looking for a way to, maybe live again. Live a few more days. Live longer than what he's got. He doesn't have long. He doesn't even have over, 3 months. So then he finds out about this place. They're doing this, medicine cocktail and surgery combination that is supposedly curing cancer, or at least giving people more time. And it's really compelling, like I said, that we get this arc with John where he kind of gets that hope. He meets these people, he thinks he's going to be alright, he gets the surgery, he's having, not necessarily a new outlook on life, but, he's at his highest point, for sure, and, that he's been in a long time. And then it's all ripped away from him, and about the 50-hour or so minute mark, we're getting right into him snatching up these surgeons and getting his revenge with that decapitation to kick us off. Amanda is there. She kidnaps all of the people, gets them there. I love that. There's something that we don't see originally. She sees that the female doctor, Cecilia, she had a phone call from this guy that we saw earlier in the film. We met him. He was supposedly one of the guys that was also scammed along with John trying to get treatment for his cancer. But it's revealed by the end that that guy was in on the scam as well. He is Cecilia's, lover or whatever. And he's been in on it the whole time, so that was pretty entertaining. That was a good twist. They managed to put John in one of his own traps by the end. Him and the little boy that he befriends. And they get drowned. They get waterboarded. Well, bloodboarded, as Cecilia puts it, with blood. I mean, it's just ounces and ounces of blood. Well, gallons, I guess. Just piling onto them, drowning them one by one, and they have to use the levers to move the blood over to the other person to drown them and kill them. John is he's okay with it. He is getting drowned. He's not going to let the kid die, and you're thinking, wow, how is this going to end? Because we know John lives from this because he's in Saw 2. And that's when you get the big reveal when Cecilia goes to collect the money that she's had from all these scams that John has told her that's in his office. Turns out, boom, the doors lock, and there's gas going in there that's going to dissolve everything in its path, and there's only one hole for Cecilia and her lover to live. Only one of them can live. Cecilia very quickly realizes, yeah, I'm done with you. She kills the lover, lets him die, and she is pretty much trapped in that room forever, so it's pretty safe to say she dies. John gets his revenge on her. Sorry that I skipped ahead. That was just very epic. You get the Saw music, the Hello Zepp theme from the original film. We have, oh yeah. So this guy gets put in this chair, and it will shut in and cook him if he does not pick out a piece of his brain and put it in this cup, in this container to dissolve and get the key. Same with with the woman cutting her leg off, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for us. Unfortunately for the guy, he does not make it. Thing shuts in and cooks him. That was entertaining because he was getting whiny. He was getting annoying. Gabriella is the one that I remember most because she actually seems like a very kind, shy even, not very social woman. When John first meets her, she's kind of like the person that holds over the location. He traps her. He has her hung up, one chain on her arm, one chain on her leg, and there is this massive cancerous rays being, heat rays coming onto her. It's boiling her skin. I mean, you see her skin is burning up, but she actually does manage to beat her leg and arm to dislocate them and break their bones to get out of that trap, which I thought was really surprising. I was like, oh wow, like, that's great. She actually might have, deserved that. I mean, it's kind of made clear that she's a drug addict, but I don't know. I think she had some kind of sympathy maybe to John. I don't know. It's very unclear. But John is like, she won, she passed the test, let her go to the hospital, and this is when Cecilia, during the twist, she's like, oh, does she? Does she deserve to go to the hospital? Snaps her neck. I was like, oh, damn. But, hey, Cecilia met her end anyway, and I was happy to see it. I think this movie does a great job, even setting up maybe, possibly even future films. I mean, we're at Saw 10 here, and the after credit scene is John Kramer and none other than Hoffman, if you remember Hoffman from the Saw franchise. He is one of John's many cohorts, or people that he, kind of trains to be Jigsaw or make these traps, and he is torturing the guy that told John he should go check out the treatment. He was from his cancer support group, and he even fashioned his own scar to make it seem like, oh yeah, John, this is legit. But at the end, the after credit scene, he's in a trap. That's all we get. We don't get to see him live or die. It's pretty clear what happens, though. But that was awesome. So maybe that's setting up another movie. Even though Spiral, the last Saw film, was very different from what we're used to from the Saw franchise, I would still like to see that story play out with Chris Rock's character. But this was absolutely a fantastic entry into the franchise. I mean, just what a return to form for this. because I was missing like the spinning cameras and there's that certain color scheme, that kind of grittiness to Saw films that we were kind of missing from the last few. So I'm glad that they integrated that back into this. And yeah, I had a great time. So I want to let you guys leave your thoughts down in the comments. Can't speak. It's been so long since I've done one of these movie reviews. Sorry for that. I'm gonna fix that soon. I'm gonna try and get out more of these. We got some films coming up soon. The Exorcist Believer will probably be the next review, I'd imagine. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and goodbye. Make sure to tell me what you thought of Saw X. I can't talk. It's Jigsaw playing tricks. Bye.